Hey guys, welcome to our online math class. This video will be about inequalities in two variables, and by the end of this lesson we should be able to sketch an inequality like a linear equation, be able to test to see whether a point lies in the designated regions, and finally be able to graph a linear equality. Let's just pause the video here and take a couple of minutes to write these down. Alright, so we're going to start off by looking at the inequality y minus x is greater or equal to 2, and we're going to represent this graphically. So in order to do this, we need to start off by drawing in the line y minus x equals 2. And that refers to our first goal here, being able to sketch an inequality like a linear equation. So we're just going to think of that as a linear equation for now. So to sketch a linear graph or a linear equality, we're going to need a Cartesian plane, something like that. So just sketch one of those into your books. It doesn't have to include all those points there. You can just have something like that. Once you've got a Cartesian plane, in order to sketch a linear graph, we need to find the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So remember, the y-intercept is when x equals 0, and the x-intercept is when y equals 0. So starting off by finding the y-intercept, so I'm going to substitute x as 0, so that's going to give me y minus 0 equals 2. So therefore, y is going to equal 2, so my y-intercept is 2. So my first point is going to be right there, 0, 2. That's my y-intercept. And my x-intercept is when y equals 0. So let's substitute that in. That's going to give me 0 minus x equals 2. So therefore, negative x equals 2. I'm going to move the negative to the other side. So that gives me x equals negative 2. So my next point, my x-intercept, is going to be right there, negative 2, 0. Once you got that, just get a ruler and connect those two lines and make sure you extend beyond that. Something like that. And there we go. We've got our graph, y minus x equals 2. And that's just a neater version for you guys to refer to. So this line here represents all the values that satisfy y minus x equals 2. So that's part of my answer. We want that. We want y minus x equals 2 because it's got that equals part in that inequality there. Once we've drawn the line, we now have two regions on the Cartesian plane. We've got one above the line there. I'll just circle that for you. One over here, and we've got another region over there below the line. So we've got two separate regions. One of these regions will be y minus x is greater than 2, whereas the other region will be y minus x is smaller than 2. And we're after this first part. We need that part there. So how do we determine which part is which? So in order to do that, we need to pick a random point that is not on the line there. So you could pick any point you want. It could be up here, could be down here. I'm going to go with this point here, 2, 8. So once you've picked the test point, you now need to substitute that into the inequality y minus x is greater or equal to 2. If the point makes the inequality true, that's the point we're after, and you're going to shade that region containing the test point. If it's not, you're going to shade the other part. So let's have a go at doing that here with 2, 8. So once again, remembering to substitute it into y minus x equals 2. So remembering x value always comes first, and then the y. So that's going to give me 8 minus 2 equals 2, and that gives me 6 equals 2. So remembering that's my inequality there. So we're after when y minus x is greater or equal to 2. In this case, 6 is greater than 2. So that means we've picked the right region there. But let's say we picked a different point. Let's say we picked 4, 4. So that is somewhere down here. So 4, 4, that's over there. That's below the line this time. If we picked a point like that, same thing, we're going to substitute that into the equation. 4 minus 4 equals 2. That's going to give me 0 equals 2. In this case, it does not fulfill that criteria there. Because this time, y minus x isn't greater than 2, it's actually smaller than 2. 0 is smaller than 2. So that's not the region we're after there. So if you picked a point that was above the region, you just circle that part there, or shade that part in. If you picked a point that doesn't satisfy it, like over here somewhere, that means we're not after that region, so once again you shade in the part that doesn't include that point. So just a neater diagram there for you. We've got the part we want in blue and the red line there. So overall, the blue shaded area and the red line represent that inequality there. And just a key point, sometimes you'll get questions that are just like this. We worked with one with these there. If that's the case, you use a dotted line instead of that full line there. So if we had y minus x, something like this line down in red, that would just be dashed instead of a solid line. Alright, so that's just a quick summary of all the steps that we followed in order to graph that linear equality. You might want to pause the video here, just take a couple of minutes to write those down into your bound reference. Alright, let's have a go at some example questions now. Test to see if the point 1, 4 lies in the region x plus y is greater or equal to 6. So I'm going to substitute that in. Remember, it's x first and then y. That's going to give me 1 plus 4 equals 6. 1 plus 4 is 5. In this case, 5 is smaller than 6, so it actually doesn't fit in that region. So you would have to state that in your answer. You could say something like, because 5 is less than 6, the point 1, 4 does not lie in the region. X plus y is greater or equal to 6. And next question, very similar to the one before. It says test to see if the points 2, 3 lies in the region. 2x plus y is smaller or equal to 12. So once again, we're going to substitute those values in. That gives me 2 times 2 plus 3 equals 12. Should I write equals there? That's going to give me 4 plus 3 equals 12, which is 7 equals 12. In this case, 7 is smaller than 12, so it does fit in that region there. So your final answer could be something like, because 7 is less than 12, the point 2, 3 lies in the region. 2x plus y is smaller or equal to 12. So these problems are just testing to see if points lie in a particular region. Let's have a go at graphing some now. So this question says sketch the graph of the region 3x plus 2y is smaller or equal to 18. So once again, in order to do this, we're going to need a Cartesian plane. So sketch one out into your books. So once we've got a Cartesian plane, we're going to need to sketch it like it's a linear equation. So 3x plus 2y equals 18. So to do that, we're going to need to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So remembering y-intercept is when x equals 0. So let's start off with that. So replace x with 0. So that gives me 3 times 0 plus 2y is equal to 18. Now 3 times 0 is 0, so I'm just left with 2y equals 18. So therefore y equals 9. So my y-intercept is up here at 0, 9. Now moving on to my x-intercept, so that's when y equals 0. So that gives me 3x plus 2 times 0 equals 18. So 3x is going to equal 18, therefore x equals 6. So my x-intercept is down here at 6, 0. Once you've got that, just connect those 2 points to the line and a ruler, and there we go, we've got our graph there. So once again, we've got 2 regions now, one at the bottom here and one at the top there. So we need to find out which region we're after. So just pick a point that's not on the line. Let's just go with 0, 0 here. So substitute the point 0, 0 into the equation. It's going to give me 3 times 0 plus 2 times 0 equals 18. 3 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, so I'm going to have 0 equals 18. In this case, that is smaller than 18. So that is the region we're after, and just make sure you shade the region. So something like that, and that will be your answer there. And just make sure you include a label of the region. So let's write 3x plus 2y is smaller or equal to 18 in that relevant region. And once you've got all that, you will get full marks for a question like this. Now moving on to the next one, sketch the graph of the region 4x minus 5y is greater than 20. Have a go at this one by yourself and just unpause it once you're ready to go through it with me. Just keep in mind there is no equal sign under that, so you will need a dashed line for this question. Alright, so starting off, we need a Cartesian plane again. Once you've got that, we need to find the x and y-intercept. So in this case, y-intercept is going to be 4 times 0 minus 5y equals 20. That gives me negative 5y equals 20. Once we got that, divide both sides by negative 5, that gives me y equals negative 4. So my y-intercept is down here at 0, negative 4. And finding my x-intercept, that's when y equals 0 again, so that gives me 4x minus 5 times 0 is equal to 20. That gives me 4x equals 20, so therefore x equals 5. So that is just over here, 5, 0. Once we've got that, connect those with a straight line again. Just make sure it's dashed this time because we're not including that line. Now we've got 2 regions again, above the line and below the line. Just pick a point that's not on the line to determine which region we're after. Once again, I'm just going to pick 0, 0. I'm picking 0, 0 because that's generally the easiest to do your calculations with. Once you've got that, just chuck that into the equation. So that's 4 times 0 minus 5 times 0 equals 20. That gives me 0 minus 0, so that's 0 equals 20. In this case, 0 is smaller than 20. We're after something that's bigger, so that's not the right region there. So the region we're after is not the region that has 0, 0, it's the other region. So it's that part there, so just shade in the part that's below the line. Once you got that, you just label the region. write down the inequality in there. So 4x minus 5y is greater than 20. And there you go, that's the end of that question. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all back online.